Hello, everyone. Jennifer Brown, TI Digital Soldier, reporting to you live from Las Vegas. This message is to the community gang stalkers because I'm getting ready to be released from the safe house where I'm at right now. The picture below is in regards to some information that I sent to Washington in hopes of saving $300,500,000 in the United States. It is technology that came out of the 2008 Hurricane Weather Modification Workshop, in by which Homeland Security and NOAA, who approves all geoengineering or weather modification projects in the United States. In this, it shows how to halt a hurricane, a picture diagram of how to do that, and it preceded 3 other slides in giving a person the advanced technologies that we have capabilities of. Also within that Hurricane Weather Modification Workshop, which was in 2008, they also had a list in the program manual of all the scientists and their departments and their telephone numbers. When I found out about Hurricane Florence and how the deep state, I knew the deep state was guiding that Florence towards 6 nuke plants, which you can see by Googling Hurricane Florence heading towards 6 nuke plants. CNN's article still pulls up, and other articles, news media outlets. So with that being said, I was very, very concerned because I was aware at Fukushima that once it plumed up, the radiation plumed up, the black smoke, when it came up, that radiation fallout was spread from west coast to east coast within just 4 days of radiation fallout. In fact, in the middle of Oregon, we had corn that was harvested that year that was in the shape of a fan. It was so badly mutated. There was many other mutations that was recorded in crops. And Berkeley University had also said that they had found radiation in off the coast of, I think it was San Francisco, at some of the mom and pop farms that had radiation in their milk. They found it in lettuce, and they found it in the mushrooms, and they found it in other porous vegetables. So with this being known by me, I immediately jumped up and contacted former CIA Kevin Shipp, former NSA William Binney, former NSA Kirk Wiebe, John F. Kennedy Jr., Storm is Upon Us, I believe is who I contacted, or Q, and I also contacted the President of the United States and sent them these pictures along with the other picture that had the list of all the scientists that attended this conference in 2008. So with that being said, it has warranted me some attention up in Washington. Plus, in lieu to the fact that before I sent that information out to those individuals, I sent out a document in regards to the deep state's plan to kill the 7 billion on the planet with their deep state play-to-play manual, which was found in the NASA Future of War PDF, which came out of Langley Science Division, which was found on the NASA website, but we had cached it after the activists freaked out and was whistleblowing on it. They took it down, but we cached it before they took it down. So this is the reason why I have gathered a little bit of attention in Washington. They also found out that I am a targeted individual because they looked into my stuff, my social media accounts, etc., my YouTube playlist, so on and so forth. So this is the reason why I am followed by some very high-end people, by the grace of God, that is, because I will reach out to them on occasion when I need assistance. They are monitoring my device 24/7. I gave them permission to do that. They did not ask. I knew that this was happening because every time my boyfriend was performing at the Sand Dollar and other places throughout town, I would invite the White Hats to come and hear him perform. And I had 2 people with inside the intelligence agencies, constitutionalists, that came out to visit. So this is how I know that my phone is monitored in real time. With that being said, how does this affect the community-based agents? Well, because I'm going to give you the technologies also that we are using to monitor your activity and your intentions as you are coming and running psychological PSYOP, that where you've been trained at the FISA, or not FISA, but the FBI fusion centers, as well as using microwave handheld weapons and or backpack units in your bags to harm me while I'm on the bus, so on and so forth. Number 1, speaking of buses, the eye cameras, the round dome cameras on any bus, at any buses or any business, as well as the shelter where I'm at, are the easiest ways from which to hack. Okay, I was told this by a bodyguard that I will be have access to me once I get the money and move into my home. My old boss is getting me a bodyguard. We interviewed that bodyguard for 2 hours. He said that those dome systems are the easiest systems from which to hack. We can pull audio and video off of them. Okay, or at least audio. We don't need well, all but city buses. I don't know if you guys know, but they all have listening devices on them. So on a bus, yes, we can pull audio and video. So the reason this is important is because all we have to do is run facial recognition from those systems, which happens in real quantum reality. It will give you your address, where you are, and also where you live. Once that is established, the biological nano, which is a second technology, will track you within an inch of where you stand. We all have it in our body systems. This was deployed through geoengineering spraying of our skies. It's called smart dust. You may have heard of it. Activists have known about it since 2009 or beforehand. Another technology that I will be using, which is the very first technology and patent that I found when diving into the NASA Future of War PDF, the very first one in monitoring, remote monitoring technologies was biological comms. A lot of you community-based agents are running with this narrative that I am taking your picture and filming you. That is bullshit. I don't have to do that. I can just simply look at you, and there is a patent that I am aware of that not only you guys have access to, that Deep State is using through your own eyes, but they're using through the TI's eyes, in which they can find out whom we are talking to, because one of the main goals of them is to sabotage all of our friends and all of our efforts to have any friends. So once that we're talking with someone and looking at them, Deep State on their end is running the same facial recognition and finding the address so that they can later have a rep come in and pitch them to become a gang stalker. Okay? But on my end, the way I'm using it is if you are bothering me and attacking me and doing so with intent over and over and over again, I am calling out for Washington to reverse that biological comm in case that I don't have my phone with me. And it is very simple for them to do. Another technique that I do is, since I know that all thoughts of mine can be sought out by Deep State, whatever Deep State can do, white hats can do. So another thing that I do, if I need to and I don't have my phone out, is I will communicate telepathically to them, because I do know that they can read it out on a computer system at the other end. I will also use sign language. In front of my phone. Sometimes I do that. I'll use sign language as to show them, yes, I am aware of you on the bus, and I am talking about you, and I am reporting what you're doing to me as I'm on the bus. So these are some of the technologies that are availed right now, that are out there right now in counterintelligence. Not only that, but I'm also reporting street comms, because I am very well aware that Washington also has access to all street comms and intersections and street comms. At every corner, there is some kind of camera system at street comms, especially those street comms that may be near any airport systems. I think there's so many miles radius out from an airport system that these street comms are recorded. So this is another means in by which I will record stuff. In by that, I almost was killed last summer. Via an operative who was shipped up from Florida to do an assassination hit on me. I barely scathed with an inch of my life. So I don't take these threats at all lightly, as I had been receiving in the last month for 2 weeks straight in a row. So with any such threats, I will be reporting to Washington. This is how close I came last summer. The man was high on meth. We do know that when they're high on meth or drugs, they're very easily to be turned into a Manchurian candidate through the mind control systems that they have mastered over the last 50 years and can do so remotely. With that being said, he was a Manchurian candidate that was sent up to the Sunset Park, where I was homeless and sleeping. And there was many of them leaving bricks and big boulder rocks, about 6 inches in width, and coming by with bats around me with innuendos, just like they're doing now, with poles and bricks and 12-inch wrenches and poles, and passing me with innuendos. When you hit that next light system, your facial recognition is being run. They're also using satellite systems which can pick up a penny and read it from the street. If you're not aware, also another technology that they use, even in this is Google has come up with this system, and they have admitted that they have it, and that is a way by which they can pick out a conversation at a concert and delete all other conversations within that arena. So, going back to what happened at the park last summer and why I take these matters so seriously. The first pole was used, iron pole was used to beat a man to death at the park. I knew something was happening, and I knew they were activating Daryl Dent. And so what I did was I immediately got up from where I was getting ready to sleep, and I got up and I went across the street, and I went, this was at the corner of Eastern and Sunset, and I went next to the 7-Eleven to the AA hall. Daryl Dent saw me go over there. He was screaming and yelling at this man that was sitting on the ground. And he was threatening him, and the man just sat there, and he didn't get up and do anything. Daryl Dent had left the scene, from what I heard, because I was at the AA hall, went over to his camp, which was over there. He had his homeless camp over there at the cemetery. He had positioned himself at the corner there. At the cemetery in the back corner. He went and got an iron pole, and he beat that man to death. Then he proceeded to take that iron pole across the street back to his camp and got another pole, and that second pole was intended for me. He proceeded to walk across the street, and as he was at 7-Eleven, he got into a ruckus, and the pole was dropped. And there was a homeless person there. God, I want to remember her name. She grabbed the pole and she slid it underneath the ice machine and very bravely said, "You, sit down now. I'm calling the police. Sit down and don't move." And he did, which was really weird. And there was 25 police cars that came onto the scene. So her name was Jules. She's still around the park. So if you go to corroborate my story, if you go to this Sunset Park at Eastern and Sunset and ask any homeless person there, they will say yes. There was 25 cop cars there. There was a murder in the park. The man fell for the worst, and they do believe they had reported that he had died. So this is a community-based agent that was under mind control, that is facing life. Okay. At that time was the time that I let the police officers, some of them, know about my situation. And that I was well aware about the rescues in underneath Las Vegas of human trafficked kids. At that point, they knew I was connected, because they knew that I should not know that information, because they did not extract that information into the community. But they themselves had to know about these operations, because we were using explosives to crack into the dumps to get underneath, to get in there to do the rescues. And this is one of the reasons that I received not one, but two police parades once I was at the park. So it was an honor. I also led them to my LinkedIn page. They are well aware of my LinkedIn page and that I'm a targeted individual. Unfortunately, though, they are not allowed to assist me in that matter, because most FBI, even if they're constitutionalist or rogue is not going to help me, but the constitutionalist FBI will not assist. They can't assist. They don't want to be targeted themselves, and the same thing with the police officers. So, but I will tell you this. When you come to threaten me with these weapons and these bricks and these big rocks and these poles and these bats and these 12-inch iron wrenches, and you walk past me with innuendos, you're going to be reported so fast it'll make your head spin. Faster than you could slap a tick. Because I'm not playing. My life is on the line. And I take intent, especially when I've warned you for 3 years, when I know that you're monitoring me as well through my phone, because we know that all you have to do is sign into the Lockheed Martin site. Karen Stewart, my friend from NSA, hired a detective, or someone did with one of her friends. It may have been one of her friends. And they hired a detective, and they had found out that, yes, that is how you guys are going in and using your username and password to log into our devices to track us in real-time quantum reality. So I've given you lectures up to 3 years about the things that you're up against and how it can cost you your freedom. Now, there are military tribunals that are going on right now, and they've been going on for 3 years, and these are for domestic terrorist activities, again, for human rights violations, especially that of human trafficked individuals. So you do know that we do know that you are considered human trafficking. You are human trafficking the targeted individuals in by which you are getting a paycheck to run your psychological operations. So this is what I'm telling you. Any threats to my life, any double intents of being followed and harassed, which I know that's your job, to follow me 24/7 and does not leave me not to be out of your sight at all. So with that being said, I will use every technology available to me, every source available to me, and any means of protection available to me. Furthermore, I want you to know that my body also has a biological nano in it. If I'm kidnapped, if anything has happened, or if I'm white-coated, white hats will know immediately where I am and to an inch of where I stand. Furthermore, I want to add to that there was something else I wanted to say. Give me a moment. It's all that radiation. I have really bad memory. I've had a lot of radiation to the brain since 2015, so bear with me. The Patriot Act, I want you to know that in the Patriot Act, it says that in Section 802 that all your assets will be seized. That means all money's made and every single thing that you have in your home, your car, and your house. Anybody that even supports this group or makes money, which means doctors, lawyers, psychiatrists, those at the shelters, anyone found by the NSA, by any digital means through email, text, facsimiles, or anything else. And don't think that we can't hack into your computer systems. Of course we can, my dear. We just shut down 35 shipping containers, which were going to start World War III. So don't think that you're so special over there with your company. There is no protection for domestic terrorists. And this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Anybody involved, okay, having my can kicked down the road, who's getting organized crime, play-to-play money, you will be called out. So the reason that you're seeing the pictures below is because I'm not your average targeted individual. I'm not your average person over here that you're targeting. I am someone that Washington highly likes and cares about and has assisted me in many, many ways. And either getting some of the systems shut down if I can't do it myself, but for the most part, through prayer and through breathing exercises, I'm able to do it myself. God guided me into that path of those breathing exercises. Later, I found out through a scientific journal that with dealing with individuals who are hit with microwave, it creates a shielding system, keeping the weapon from hitting us anymore. So usually that works. Usually when I breathe in real deep, as much as I can until I yawn, exhale, the pain is gone. If that doesn't work, I order up assistance from Jesus and God to help me. And last but not least, if that doesn't work, or if I'm too exhausted to do the breathing technique and the other one, the prayer does not work, which usually it does. But in the event it doesn't work fast enough, that's when I will call out to White Hats and see if they can't assist. So this is what I'm telling you that I will use, and these are the systems and counterintelligence that we will use to track you down to an inch of where you stand and record any activity that you were saying or doing or deploying upon me in real-time quantum reality. Furthermore, I want you to know one last thing, that I have received some surprise guest visits. One of the times was when I got off the bus and I was waiting for the bus. I think I got off the bus, went to the corner, within walking into, this was right after getting off the bus, pushing the button to go across the crosswalk. Within 25 seconds, this child of this famous person, whom I'd seen 5 times, by the way, was in the intersection. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because this is how fast, I know now, this is how fast the military can get to me to assist me. Also, last but not least, I do want you to know that there are undercover agents in street clothes that are also in the area or the campus of a 3-block radius of where I am at and will be positioned until I get my home and or on the city buses. So you guys are taking in an extreme Fruit Loop chance of showing intent over and over and over again. And any death threats that I have received will be dealt with accordingly, and you'll probably see your way up to Gitmo. This is not a game, and I will protect myself by any means, by any measures possible or plausible. Do you get what I'm telling you? So with that being said, please heed the warning. And thank you. Have a good day.